Coming up on today's episode. So I've got a couple of examples to show you. This one here is a Sharp. It's a 2-inch black and white screen. This is a Ferguson, not quite a 3-inch screen, 2.7 inch I think that is, a colour personal video monitor. This one here, the JVC TMP3. And let's see what brand tube this is. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Thanks for tuning in. One of my things I like to collect, amongst many other things, are CRT television sets and personal video monitors. They're very small ones, anything below a 14 inch, simply because I don't have any room for anything bigger. And over the years we've had quite an abundance of different models and variations on those things, from the late 70s right up through to the 90s and the early 2000s. But on the early machines, they were nearly all black and white. It was a few years before we started to see colour machines. So I've got a couple of examples to show you. This one here is a Sharp, and it's a 2-inch black and white screen. And this one has a LCD clock and an FM AM radio built in. And it's actually still working as well, that one. I think that's from around about 1982. And as time went on, it started to get a little bit bigger. This one here is a JVC. It's in very poor condition. I need to do a restoration on this actually. I think that's probably about a 4-inch screen on that one. It's a very nice unit, that. It's got a built-in tape deck as well as a radio. And then of course, as the 90s came along, you've got the cheapo versions, didn't you, of the black and white TVs. Use them as CRT video, CCTV monitors. They have a FM AM radio built in. And then of course you had your colour TVs. In the 80s they started coming out, very expensive in the early days. This one here is about a 5-inch, made by Goodman's. They were quite popular. And then last year I came across this. This is a Ferguson, not quite a 3-inch screen, 2.7 inch I think that is, a colour personal video monitor, which I didn't know existed. And then when I started doing some research, I soon discovered it's actually a clone. This one here, the JVC TMP3, which is a lovely video monitor. In fact, they're pretty much identical. So today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the JVC TMP3 there and its clone. We'll take the clone apart and have a look inside, see what's going on in there. And we'll do some tests on the JVC. When I make videos about things, I like to do my research first to try and get my facts straight. Now and again I do make mistakes, but obviously I'm only human. And sometimes you end up finding out information after you've made a video, right towards the end, or even after you've uploaded it. But the research I've been doing on this has actually been quite hard. I've not managed to find hardly any information out at all about these two devices. I've got a couple of What Video magazines here to show you what I found. And I've got this Ferguson Video Star home video range, the complete home video range 1983. So have a look in here first. I've actually had this leaflet for quite a while. I never actually noticed the TV that was in it until after I bought it. Some VCRs there from the time period. I think I've got that one there. I need to do a video about that. But here we go. And there it is there. The 3V37 colour video monitor. So yeah, it's actually in there, but unfortunately there's no prices on that page. I'm amazed at the condition of that leaflet actually, considering how old it is. But yeah, I found it in a couple of What Video magazines from 1986. But there's not much information at all. We've got a lot of other gear in here, but what you don't seem to ever be able to find is a price. And there it is there mentioned. The JVC TMP 3-inch monitor. There's also the 6-inch version, and a 10-inch and a 20-inch even. And obviously it mentions the Panasonic version there as well, the TC30, which would be nice to own, but no price. Phone 4 latest prices, obviously it's a bit late now, because it's a long time ago. I think it was the same in this one. Oh no, it's the Panasonic in this one, I think. Yes. So the JVC 6 inches in there. So JVC CX60 is there. and that was $269.95 for a 6-inch. And the Panasonic was $339.95 TC30. But what I did find actually was on JVC's website, was actually on the archive side, I found the price. I think it was $349 last selling price. I'll pop that up on the screen. Interesting, they still had it on there actually after all these years. But unfortunately I've not managed to find an instruction or service manual for these models. If anybody has one out there, please let me know in the comments. Maybe we can get it uploaded somewhere for everybody else to have a look at it as well. Because one of the things I'm always curious about with this TV was these connecting points here. And there's also a little lug there, almost like this slides into something, or something slides onto the side of it. It would be nice to find out what those points are for. So let's have a look at the differences between these two devices. The first thing that stands out is the screen. Now this Ferguson here is actually missing its screen protector plastic cover. The JVC has its one there, and it's slightly smoked, so I'm wondering if that smoke effect there is making the screen look a little bit darker, or it could be a different tube on the inside. Now I will be opening this one up today, but I wasn't planning on opening them both up, just this one. Depending on how easy it comes apart, I may do both, just to compare any internal differences. So connectivity wise, on the top there, you've got a composite video input there, and then a composite video output along with audio in and audio out. These are using the BNC connectors and a 3.5mm jack for the audio. And you've got a 6-pin DIN there, which contains audio and video. That goes straight into the portable VCR, because I've got the cable for that. So you can actually have two inputs on this, which is quite handy. And that's your input select button there. There's an ohm switch there. I'm assuming, as that's the video out, it's probably to boost the signal. Because the signal's already going into here, it might need something to boost it. Because you can plug the camera into here, then go straight out into your VCR, or whatever capture device you're using. Switch wise, we've got a PAL CCAM button on that one, and this one says Power Auto. Interestingly, the American version has a tint button, doesn't have those PAL and CCAM settings. You've got vertical hold, colour, brightness, contrast and volume, and then your power on off switch, and that's your battery release button or power supply. Interestingly, in the American version it uses RCA connections instead of the BNC connections. The battery that I mentioned before, it's that one there. It's a MBP4U, 12 volts, 1.2 amp hours. These came in different sizes. A thinner one, I think there might have been a slightly bigger one, but this fits on the portable VHS video recorder that was out at the same time as these, and it just clips on the side here. There's a couple of contacts under there that reveal themselves as this slides on. Just line up the arrows and slide it on. It just happens to be there's a little bit of power in that, but these screens won't come on unless they have a signal. And obviously that shows you your input there as well. And the power supply, this one here, it's exactly the same thing but in the power supply form, which makes it quite a lot bigger to look at. You can see it sticks out quite a bit on the side there. Now they both have a stand underneath as well, which is very handy. Little pop-up stand there. The JVC still has its rubber foot, but the Ferguson's missing that. And you have a tripod mount, which is very handy. So you can mount them on a little tripod or a full-size one and have it right next to you while you're filming on the camera. You can be monitoring the picture back on the monitor. Spec-wise, as you would expect, exactly the same. Both DC 12 volts, 7.4 watts. Ferguson there says manufactured in Japan to specification approved by Thorn EMI Ferguson Limited. Ferguson Video Star was a company that was around in the 80s here in England. They did quite a lot of JVC clones, just like other manufacturers did as well. They both have this little canopy that pulls forward to help you view in bright conditions, which is quite a big help actually. Because obviously the brightness only goes so far on these things, and when you're out in the sun, it does tend to wash the screen out slightly. So next then, we'll try a signal on this JVC. I think we'll try a games console. I've got the perfect thing here. going to try this out today, this Sega Master System 1. But this connects via composite, because obviously these video monitors don't have a RF input on the back or anywhere on the side, and they're primarily just a personal video monitor. So we'll be using the AV out cable for that, which is composite video. And then in a bit we'll open this one up and have a look inside, and then we'll test a live feed on it, a video feed, and see what it looks like. So let's test that games console out next. Let's see what the picture quality looks like. I think first of all we'll try Sonic the Hedgehog. The colour reproduction actually looks better in real life than it does on the camera. I might try and adjust this and everything actually. Okay, so let's have a look inside this thing, shall we, and see what's actually in here. I'm intrigued. Like I mentioned before, I want to see which tube is in this. Could be a Panasonic, or could just be something unbranded I've never heard of. Looking at the case, there's not too many screws. It looks like the bottom may come off. But I've never opened one of these before, and I don't have a service manual. So we'll just see how we go. I think there's one under there. Yeah. Screws are all the same length so far. There's a little arrow pointing towards it, so it does the same sort of thing. So sometimes even I can miss them, even though they have an arrow on. I think there's a couple of clips I noticed earlier, just there and there. Can't see anything else. I think we'll pop those clips now. Be careful because these plastics are getting quite brittle. So far so good. Oh, it looks like the top comes off. There we go. Cable there for the speaker when it unplugs, that's good then. I've not had this plugged in for quite a few days, so hopefully there'll be no charge left in it. Got some date codes here. 82, 83 and 84. Looks like this was made between 82 and 83. Got a manufacturer's name there, the plastics. Tiny little speaker, 14 ohms. So that's very sensitive. Right then, well that's the battery cover there, power supply cover rather, for the terminals. Let's see if there's any tube description. I've got a feeling it's going to be under that cowling. It's certainly jam-packed in here, that's one thing for sure. I've got some of those ribbon cables there which can be quite brittle. I've seen those before in a number of video cameras and video recorders like the Sony SL-F1 Betamax portable. That's dropped down, isn't it? So I say then those sides must drop down if it's on a ribbon cable like that. So it looks like we've got a couple of those little plastic pop rivets. Yeah, we have. We need to get this front off, don't we? Or at least the bottom part. So I think if I undo those two screws there, it's very clean inside. Let's get that plastic cover off because I think that's as far as I need to go really, to see what we've got manufacturer wise. Right next to the cap there. Let's have a look. And it's a Matsuita, so it is a Panasonic. It's an 85XB22 model number. Yeah, Matsuita. There you go. Let's see if we can get that other side to pop down. Can't see anything bad happening in any capacitors that might be leaking. A little bit of glue there on top of that capacitor just there. Sometimes some of those glues can break down and end up becoming conductive. This one here is loose by the looks of it. This little plastic rivet. Got some powdering around it from where it's been rubbing. There we go. So yeah, it all just pops out and it fans out. But I must say it's very clean in there. I expect it to be full of dust. At first glance I can't see anything leaking. But sometimes you can't tell until you actually remove them and have a look underneath. I've started doing that now, removing capacitors to look at them and just putting them back if they're okay. Although sometimes when the legs are really short because you've taken them out, it's hard to get them back in depending on their location. Right, in fear of damaging it, I'm not going to go any further with that. I shall reassemble that now. So now we know what's in one of these. See, we've got the Ferguson model number on the back there, not on that aluminium backing 3V37. And the rivets just snap back in. See how long that tube is. Wow. 17 centimetres, well, yeah, about 17 centimetres, or 6.5 inches. Well, there you have it, the JVC TMP3 Personal Video Monitor from around 1983. I've had both these monitors now probably 3 or 4 months. I think I bought them quite close together actually, end of last year, 2023. And looking on eBay today in 2024, there seems to be quite a few of them around in America. They're quite reasonably priced as well, in my opinion, between sort of $100 and $150, which I think is quite a good price for something this rare. I've only seen these two versions so far. If anybody knows out there of any other variants of these models, of these size screens, please let me know in the comments. The only other thing I saw while doing some research was a small oscilloscope mounted together with this TV here on a little base. It wasn't a JVC. I forget the model number now actually. I'll have to add it up on the screen in editing. But so a little green oscilloscope for the video monitor. I'm not sure what it was used for. Probably something to do with television, I think, broadcast for monitoring signals. Going forward, these two are going to need a bit of a service in the near future. All the variable resistors on the top of the pots are getting a bit scratchy, and when you're adjusting the brightness and contrast, things do jump about a little bit sometimes. I'm actually testing this right now with an old DCRT RV730. I've got a composite feed coming out the side of that into the monitor there. The camera's from about 2002. It's 4x3, so I thought it would suit this quite well. The picture quality that I'm recording is probably not doing it quite as much justice. In real life it looks quite a lot better than that actually. Probably my settings. Well, I think that just about brings me to the end of another video. I guess that leaves me to say until the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you. And if you did enjoy watching this video, you may want to take a look at some of my other videos on similar themes. I'm always buying something on eBay, some more piece of technology, and trying to repair it. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thanks for watching.